Hey there, beautiful souls. Before we dive deep into today's topic, I need you to pause for a moment and really hear me out. What I'm about to share isn't just another generic self-help video. It's something that could fundamentally change how you understand yourself and the people around you. Every single point we'll discuss today is backed by ancient wisdom that has stood the test of time for over 2,000 years. So, stick with me until the end, because each revelation builds upon the last, creating a complete picture that you won't want to miss. You know that feeling when you walk into a room and sense that someone might dislike you, but you can't quite put your finger on why. It's like an invisible wall between you and them, and no matter what you do, you can't seem to break through it. Today, we're going to explore 5 profound reasons why people might secretly harbor negative feelings toward you. But here's the twist. We're going to examine this through the lens of Stoic philosophy, one of the most powerful schools of thought in human history. The great Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This quote perfectly sets the stage for our discussion today, because understanding why people might dislike you isn't about beating yourself up. It's about gaining awareness and choosing how to respond. Let's begin with our first reason, and trust me, this one might hit close to home. 1. The mirror of truth. You remind others of their own insecurities. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to dislike you for no apparent reason, even when you've done nothing wrong? The ancient Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius provides us with a profound insight here. He wrote in his Meditations, "When you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, the people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly." But here's the fascinating part. Aurelius wasn't being cynical. He was acknowledging a fundamental truth about human nature. People often react negatively to others who embody qualities they're insecure about in themselves. Think about it. If you're confident and successful, you might unknowingly trigger feelings of inadequacy in others. If you're genuinely kind and authentic, you might make others uncomfortable about their own facades. Seneca, another great Stoic philosopher, put it brilliantly when he said, "Other people's faults are before our eyes, our own are behind our backs." This perfectly explains why people might secretly harbor negative feelings toward you. You're essentially holding up a mirror to their own unaddressed issues and insecurities. But here's the key. Understanding this doesn't mean you should dim your light. Instead, it should encourage you to practice compassion and understanding, knowing that others' negative reactions often have more to do with their inner struggles than with you. The authenticity paradox. Your genuineness threatens their comfort. This brings us to our second reason, which is deeply interconnected with the first. In today's world of carefully curated social media personas and constant performance, being genuinely authentic can make people uncomfortable. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus said it best, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." Let me explain why this is so powerful. When you choose to be authentically yourself, when you speak your truth, pursue your passions without apology, and live according to your values, you're unconsciously challenging others who have chosen to live behind masks. Your authenticity becomes a direct threat to their carefully constructed facades. Think about those moments when you've expressed an honest opinion that went against the grain, or when you've chosen to be vulnerable in a world that rewards pretense. Some people might have responded with subtle hostility or distance. Why? Because your authenticity forces them to confront their own lack of it. The great thing about Stoic philosophy is that it teaches us not to be disturbed by such reactions. As Marcus Aurelius advised, the best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury. In other words, when people respond negatively to your authenticity, the solution isn't to become more like them. It's to remain true to yourself while understanding their reaction comes from a place of internal conflict. This leads us perfectly into our third reason, which might be the most eye-opening yet. 3. The success shadow. Your growth exposes their stagnation. This third reason might be hard to hear, but it's one of the most important truths you'll ever understand. When you're actively working on yourself, pursuing your goals, and making visible progress in life, you become a living reminder to others of their own stagnation. The Stoic philosopher Seneca touched on this when he said, "People who are struggling with their own freedom look at the independence of others with resentment and hatred." Think about those times when you shared good news about your life, maybe a promotion, a personal achievement, or even just a positive change in your habits. Did you notice how some people seem to withdraw or respond with subtle negativity? That's because your progress forces them to confront their own lack of action. Epictetus puts this into perspective beautifully. Don't explain your philosophy. Embody it. When you're embodying growth and positive change, it creates what I call the success shadow, a psychological phenomenon where your advancement casts a shadow on others' complacency. They might secretly harbor negative feelings toward you, not because you've done anything wrong, but because your success story contradicts their excuses for not pursuing their own dreams. But here's where Stoic wisdom becomes invaluable. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." This means that while it's important to be aware of how your success might affect others, it should never deter you from continuing your journey of self-improvement. 4. The boundary effect. Your self-respect challenges their control. This fourth reason is particularly subtle but incredibly powerful. When you have healthy boundaries and a strong sense of self-respect, it often triggers hostility in people who are used to having their way or controlling others. The Stoic philosopher Musonius Rufus taught that we should conduct ourselves not as if we ought to live for the body, but as if we could not live without it. This principle applies perfectly to boundaries. We should live not for others' approval, but with a healthy respect for our own limits and values. Consider those moments when you've said no to unreasonable requests, stood up for your beliefs, or simply refused to engage in drama or negativity. Some people might have responded with surprising hostility or passive-aggressive behavior. Why? Because your boundaries challenge their sense of entitlement and control. Epictetus offers profound insight here. If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. In the context of boundaries, this means being willing to be misunderstood or disliked for maintaining your standards and protecting your peace. Some people will secretly resent you for having the strength they wish they possessed. But remember what Seneca wisely observed. The greatest power we have is the power of choice. Every time you choose to maintain healthy boundaries, you're not just protecting yourself, you're demonstrating a kind of strength that others might find threatening, simply because they haven't yet developed it themselves. 5. The authenticity mirror. Your truth reflects their pretense. This final reason brings us full circle and might be the most profound of all. When you live in alignment with your truth, when you speak honestly and act with integrity, you become what I call an authenticity mirror, reflecting back to others all the ways they might be living inauthentically. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The best way to avenge yourself is to not be like that." This perfectly captures the essence of authentic living. When you choose to live truthfully, without pretense or manipulation, you naturally expose the artificiality in others' behaviors. Some people might secretly hate you for this because your authenticity makes their pretense uncomfortable and obvious. Think about times when you've chosen to be honest about your struggles, spoken up about uncomfortable truths, or simply refused to play along with social games and pretenses. Some people might have responded with discomfort or even hostility. As Seneca noted, "It is not because things are difficult that we do not dare. It is because we do not dare that things are difficult." Your authentic way of being challenges others to question their own masks and pretenses. This can create a deep-seated resentment in those who have invested heavily in maintaining their facades. The path forward. Turning understanding into wisdom. Now that we've explored these 5 profound reasons, you might be wondering, what should I do with this knowledge? This is where the true power of Stoic philosophy shines through. Marcus Aurelius provides us with the perfect guidance. When another blames you or hates you, or people voice similar criticisms, go to their souls, penetrate inside and see what sort of people they are. You will realize that there is no need to be racked with anxiety that they should hold any particular opinion about you. Understanding why people might secretly hate you isn't about changing yourself to be more likable or dimming your light to make others comfortable. Instead, it's about developing the wisdom to navigate these dynamics with compassion and strength. As Epictetus taught us, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Here are the key takeaways I want you to remember. First, recognize that others' negative feelings toward you often say more about their internal struggles than about you. This understanding should breed compassion rather than contempt. Second, don't let the fear of others' secret resentment stop you from living authentically, maintaining boundaries, or pursuing growth. As Seneca said, we suffer more often in imagination than in reality. Finally, use this knowledge to develop greater emotional intelligence and resilience. Understanding these dynamics allows you to navigate relationships more skillfully and maintain your peace even in the face of others' negativity. Remember, the goal isn't to become someone who never triggers negative feelings in others. That's impossible and undesirable. The goal is to develop the wisdom to understand these dynamics and the strength to remain true to yourself regardless of others' reactions. As we conclude this journey together, I want to leave you with one final quote from Marcus Aurelius that perfectly encapsulates everything we've discussed. Be tolerant with others and strict with yourself. This balance of understanding others while maintaining your own standards is the key to navigating these complex social dynamics with grace and wisdom. Thank you for staying with me until the end. If you found value in these insights, make sure to like, subscribe, and share this video with someone who might benefit from this wisdom. Remember, understanding why people might secretly hate you isn't about changing yourself. It's about developing the wisdom to navigate life with greater awareness and compassion. Until next time, stay authentic, keep growing, and remember that the opinion of others is far less important than your relationship with your own truth.